Look, the NBA All-Star Game, what Jay's referring to, is a slam dunk competition. Since this is a giant, big societal thing, and then Victor Oladipo decides to put on a Black Panther mask, you know what you're supposed to do is make that dunk.
Yeah.
That was your job. You have the grand stage of being honored of being the Black Panther dunk. That was your one job, is to make a dunk.
Yep.
But no, you tried this perplexing anti-gravity miss. And it's so disappointing, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was, and the whole thing too is the one that he did make was just so whatever. It was just so. It was.
I gotta make it. I gotta make it.
He might just, they made a good point. Like, I guess his first dunk was a real hard one. And they're like, man, you should have went out and you should have jumped off with that one. The hardest dunk, put on the mask. I mean, obviously you want to make it, but it's like, if you would have missed it, I guess people would have understood a little bit, gave you a little bit, but man, that was kind of disappointing. I kind of was like, ugh.
You ruined it.
If I was associated with this movie, I'd be mad at him.
Dude, if I was Chad Boseman, I would have brought out the Killmonger mask and go, bitch, put this on because you fucked up. You're dying in a fucking train sequence, bitch. That's why you're in Indiana now. Fuck you. Bitch ass bitch.
I mean, I like Oladipo.
I do too.
But he definitely, I mean, everyone was hyped, dude. He came out, Chad Boseman was courtside right there, handed him the mask, he did the salute, did everything, and then he missed the dunk.
Yeah.
Boo.
Terrible, dude.
That was, it was just bad for the culture.
Should give him a Hello Kitty mask, dude. Here you go, dude. You dummy.
In fairness, though, at least it wasn't like Nate Robinson missing like 20 dunks.
Well, he couldn't do that, though.
But there wasn't like a movie for black people's societal upcomings.
At that time, right.
Of that pressure.
I remember hearing something to the effect of how, like, he couldn't breathe in that mask.
Ah, man.
And so, like, as soon as he put it on, he was like...
I remember Cedric Ceballos putting on a blindfold. You know what? If that was really, truly a blindfold, you're dunking about 7 feet away from the ring. And you're injuring yourself and you're busting your chin open. That's what should have fucking happened if it was a true blindfold.
Right.
You would have... Or maybe you're, like... 10 steps away from actually taking off and you run into a bunch of fucking camera people. If that was a true fucking blindfold. Dummy.
I think he ended up, he admitted that he could just see the steps, right? Like.
Oh, Cedric?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was straight out looking down as he was fucking dribbling.
No, he didn't dribble. He didn't dribble.
Oh, okay.
Because then he would.
Yeah, because they would make it more difficult for him.
Right. Or it would have been that more obvious if he was just dribbling and he can't see.
Might as well have an earpiece. Go, yep, you're on the right path. Keep going. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Go a little bit 11.
Jump
okay.
now.
No. Fucking Black Panther, Oladipo. It's pathetic, dude.
Oh man.
So let's get into a little bit of the actors.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of like what Mad TV and In Living Color could do. You know how those were 2 sketch shows? And there were a bunch of stars that came out of Mad TV, right? Like Bobby Lee, Artie Lang,
Will Sasso, Brian Callen, Pablo Francisco, Ari Spears.
Let's take a look at In Living Color. Almost everyone could have been a legend.
Yeah.
David Alan Grier.
Yeah.
The
Jamie
almighty
Foxx.
Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
The decorated Wayans family.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of these characters. What is the name of the sister? I call them Sneakers.
Oh, I don't remember.
Wainwright?
Yeah.
Miss Wainwright. I think she's supposed to be getting probably bigger roles after this point, dude.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
She killed all her scenes.
Yeah. And the thing is too, it's like she also has like this nerdy kind of thing where it's like, oh, she's the tech, she's the geek.
Urban nerdy.
Yep. That's like very, very important.
And it's kind of like what we did a movie review for Dope.
Yeah.
She's from that socio thinking class, right? Like very in touch with the internet.
Yeah.
Still where I'm from,
Yep.
but I'm gonna go places. That kind of vibe.
Yep.
You were gonna say something, Zach.
I recognized her from Black Mirror. She was in the new season, and her episode that she was in, she was amazing. And so the thing is like that was one thing that I noticed about all this cast. They already had prominent roles. I think like this is just an added thing to their role, or like to like it's obviously going to be probably the number one thing that's shown up on their IMDb. But all of them came with like a all-star studded cast already.
But kind of like with In Living Color.
Right.
You know, like the Wayans were established.
They had their stripes.
Jamie Foxx was already building in the stand-up comedy scene.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of like that stepping stone. It's not really like the spirit of Saturday Night Live. And ironically, you know, Mad TV had a fair amount of context of race. Like Bobby Lee played the blind kung fu master. There's that one lady who plays like a Chinese irritating lady. I thought she's funny as shit.
Right.
But it's within the context of minorities.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I like.
Yeah.
You know, Damon Wayans was the first one to, I think it was with David Alan Grier, to play like gay people in jail.
Oh yeah, the first they were.
Oh, they weren't in jail.
Men on film.
Right. Great memory. Thank you. That's remarkable to be like the black gay Siskel and Ebert. How niche is that?
Yeah.
That's plenty big.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like I remember it was Beverly Hills Cop, and I think it was
1, 2.
First one.
The okay.
First one, and I want to say it was Damon Wayans that was on there. And
gay guy.
Yeah. It was like it just kind of came. They said it came out of nowhere. Where like he's just supposed to hand him some fruit, and he ended up making that character just like peaches, plums, oranges, bananas, like and he just like he killed it. He killed that scene.
And props to that director.
Yeah.
To let him play.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right? So I thought Angela Bassett, perfect person to cast.
Yeah, perfect person. I even thought Forrest Whitaker because I wasn't even expecting him. He was I didn't see him on the bill anywhere.
Dude, it looked like Forrest Whitaker was on stage 6 on Star Wars, and he just put on a different robe and went over to fucking Wakanda. Whitaker, stage 8. Whitaker, stage 8. Principal 2, stage 8. And he wore the same fucking outfit from The Last Jedi to Wakanda and fucking did the same character. He was like talking in that same speech pattern and everything.
The thing that remarked me the most was there was someone on that cast that had a more fucked up eye than he did.
Which one?
The dad.
The dad, that's right.
Because I even before I saw the film, because I watched it the second weekend, people on opening weekend were going like, if they had such good technology, how come they couldn't fix the dad's eye? And I was like, oh, I wonder who they're talking about. And I see the movie and I see Forrest Whitaker first, and I'm like, oh, that's fucked up. When are they gonna stop picking on him? And then like when he goes into the afterlife and you see him talking to his dad, I'm like, oh god damn.
Right.
Like he would blink with one eye and the other eye would just be sitting there.
I was happy. I was happy with what happened to him.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
The dad?
Forrest Whitaker.
Oh. Yeah.
Fucking annoyed me.
Yeah. Yeah. His character was like
a frump.
Yeah, but he's also kind of, I mean, there's a reason why he's like that.
He's casted like that.
I mean, the casting was
brilliant.
Even the kids, old and young were casted really, really well. And I think that's props to all the actors, but Michael B. Jordan's, the kid that played Michael B. Jordan's character, I thought that was great. It was, even Julie Mae was saying like, oh, he kind of looks like him. They kind of talk the same. And it's like, okay, well, that's a credit to the acting and the cast.
I liked how they gave him lines too, because you thought like, oh, he's just only going to be there for the opening scene.
And just
Right.
get paid on an extra rate.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Because if you don't speak, because I did extra work for like a year. If you don't speak, you're not getting the same pay rate. The moment they put one word, whether if it's an eek or a stop, it's a completely different paycheck.
Right.
Or even if you're a stand-up, like, or a stand-in, meaning like, LL Cool J's taking a break, bring in the next Mocha Big Black guy just to stand there, so that way the framing stays there. That's a whole different paycheck too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back to Angela Bassett. I mean, there's a lot of those scenes over there where she could be looking at a fucking kitchen tile because Michael B. Jordan isn't going to be there, or whoever,
Right.
Chad Boseman is not going to be there, and she can just deliver. There was this MMA movie where Nick Nolte was in, and his acting chops just came out. And it's just like you see like this lineage, heritage actress that just be that.
That was the brother one, right? Warriors?
Yes,
The
there you
Warriors.
go.
Yeah.
So Angela Bassett, she just had this facial expression when something tragic happened. She looked like she was in tragedy.
Oh, she's a G.
Without even saying shit, dude.
Yeah, she's a G. I mean, I don't know. I mean, her resume speaks for itself. I think, she's been around for that long, and she knows how to deliver. And I don't know how old she is, but dang, man, she doesn't
103.
really age. Yeah, dude, that black don't crack because she looks good.
And if it is cosmetically worked on,
I don't think so.
if it is,
Yeah.
when I'm 60, I want to contact that cosmetic surgeon.
She's turning 60 in August.
Wow.
Yeah, man, she looks good.
And here's the one other thing. I think she deserved this role so much because it's so parallel to what the societal significance is. You're not super old school where you're casting like Dorothy Dandridge if she was alive. You know what I'm saying? Just to be forcibly about it.
Yeah.
Like she deserved that spot. She was very impactful without trying. Because the one weird thing with age is sometimes you don't watch the acting, you observe how they're going to act. It is both a gift and a curse, but I was observing after the first 2 times I see her, it's like, okay, let's see how brilliant she is or how not brilliant she is. And when they approached the other tribe,
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
See, listener, we do care about you. We're not spoiling everything completely. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you're in a part of exhausted torment,
Yeah.
she had that look where she's exhausted. She's been walking for so long, and it's about an important member.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you're going to someone who you just feuded with,
Yep.
all in one facial expression. Which sometimes I feel like I didn't enjoy the movie as I should. I was like observing more, but oh well.
Yeah.
Fuck it, it's better for the show.
This got me reminding of the Lion King cast for 2019, which is going to be live action. Have you guys seen it?
No. I haven't even seen the cartoon.
What?
Nope.
That was one thing about this movie too, where I was like, oh man, I hope they don't just bite the Lion King.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with all the African stuff. But,
It's feline. Fuck it.
yeah, right. But I was just like, dude, I hope they don't just bite the story. Like, all those kinds of, how they did with Avatar and like Pocahontas kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
But this is the cast for 2019's Lion King, and it's going to be live action. Simba will be played by Donald Glover. Nala will be played by Beyonce Knowles. Carter, I should mention. James Earl Jones will be playing Mufasa.
Of course.
I don't even know how to say this guy's name. Chiwetel Scar.
Chiwetel?
Yeah, he will be playing Scar. And then we got John Oliver as playing Zazu. John Connie will be playing Rafiki. Seth Rogen will be playing Pumbaa. You got Eric Andre as one of the
Hyenas.
hyenas.
Yeah.
And then they got Florence Kasumba, who is essentially, I guess, the Whoopi Goldberg of the hyenas. You got Keegan-Michael Key as Kamari, and then
Who's Kamari?
I think the third one.
Oh, okay.
So that completes the entire hyenas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a freaking all-star.
I hope they don't put on like headgear or masks.
Well, they have to kind of in the spirit of. I mean, I didn't watch. Because I was kind of skeptical myself when I heard about this movie was coming out, but it was like I heard that the Beauty and the Beast. I was like, did they dress up like a candle and like a teapot and shit? And apparently they did, and it's supposed to be like decent, good in that sense, but I'm assuming they're gonna have to wear some costumes.
For me, this is what I liked about Black Panther. A single necklace activated the whole outfit. It wasn't like a whole, hey, butler, white butler, get me to the fucking Black Panther cave and grab me my suit, bitch. And then you put it on.
But you don't think this was like Black Iron Man?
Well, it's Marvel, so there's going to be some kind of feel to it. I only saw the first Iron Man.
Me too.
So I can't contextually add to 2, 3.
Uh-huh.
But as far as for the evolution, I think almost Marvel has a style
I see.
of filming
Okay.
that they naturally have.
But the difference between this movie versus the other ones of the Avengers series is at least they weren't contaminated with so many punchlines and jokes to take away from like the essence of the storyline.
Like, what's the name of the Ryan? God, I interviewed the guy at Sirius too. Superhero movie, has a mask.
Ryan Reynolds, right?
What's the name of the movie?
Deadpool.
Deadpool. That was cool, but I could only watch that movie once.
Really?
Because all the liners were too much. It was like, joke, joke, joke. Guess what? Joke.
That one's actually exception because at least he's breaking the fourth wall and he's also making it like the jokes were clever and it's rated R versus like the PG jokes of like Iron Man making this joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, for my audience, I'm sure there's a Jay listener, there's a Zach listener, there's a Charles listener. For me, it just felt like it was way too many jokes.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And for you, you're the expert stand-up comic, so I validate and quantify what you say. So for you, that's great that I hear that different perspective.
And that's probably the only movie that I'm excited for to watch in opening weekend. Like that's the only I can't remember the last time I've ever wanted to wait for a movie to come out.
One?
Opening Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Deadpool. Yeah, I mean, it's Disney, so I mean, nothing surprises me. But the fact that 1, it's Coogler, 2, it was TDE. I mean, Kendrick Lamar on the soundtrack. So it's kind of like, all right, they're not gonna mess it up. They're not. They can't do it. I mean, it was just enough. There was just enough jokes on it, and I mean, like I said, that soundtrack, it just kind of drew me in. I mean, as soon as the music's playing, it's like, all right, I'm part of this experience, and I didn't expect any jokes or too many jokes to come out of it.
Well, as I hackily use it again because it's transcendent, I was worried they were going to BET it up, dude. Make it too overtly Black American versus Mission at Hand. Make it a great movie.
Yeah.
Make our people proud without being too on the nose. Well, it kind of is because it's an all-black cast, but
Right.
But I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. It's like, we're looking for like a dope Jay-Z album to vibe to. I don't need the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Let's make it palatable. I need a little bit of Pharrell in this. I need a Pharrell Jay-Z collab for everyone to digest, love, and then below the surface, it's like, yo, man, look at what we put together.
Yeah.
Roots.
And surprisingly too, it's like, Just kind of looking on the Facebook feeds and stuff like that. I mean, I had some black friends that were like, "Oh, it wasn't all that."
Okay.
Surprising. I was surprised, dude. Like, I was like, wow. I mean, there was a lot that were like, you know, they had their kids in you know, either T-shirts or like, you know, representing, doing the whole salute and all that stuff, you know, on their pictures. And then it's like, oh, this wasn't all that.
Since you're segging it brilliantly, so let's talk about it as a movie. Let's remove all things societal, though we could talk another hour
Yeah.
about all things societal. Did you want to expound on maybe a couple of... Okay, you want?
Yeah,
okay.
go for it.
So basically for me, I had problems on two fronts. The technical aspect or the utility of CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little weird to be ancient and technological. I mean, are you an ancient society, but you have all this with you? Is this like modern Black Mad Max? You know, it was just like, oh, it's James Bondish, which is cool.
Yeah.
A lot of Star Wars elements of like Princess Leia popping up as a hologram,
Yep.
which is very hip hop, right? You borrow. But I had to remove that and remind myself as I was watching the movie, oh, it's ancient, but it's also very like, oh, the Dagobah system.
It transfers. It's like, you know, they, in other words, it took like imagination to utilize the technology that they actually had. Like, their technology was so far ahead of its time that, you know, people didn't know how to utilize it until the right minds got a hold of it.
Okay, I'll also be a snotty piece of shit. If you're a spear fighter and then you are sponsored by Lexus in this car scene, and the actress Wright is controlling you hologramically,
Right.
how are you saying, oh, how primitive? But you're in utility of technology. That's when I had to go, Charles, it's a movie. Charles, it's a movie. Enjoy it.
Well,
Imagine the Flintstones watching Netflix on a hologram.
yeah. And I get it. It's just like the thing is have you ever heard of the thing Anunnaki history?
No.
No.
It's where black people at one point were like the chosen ones in Africa. So like they, even though like if you look at the walls and stuff, they're like they had sources and technology that actually helped them ascend, or like some of their ancestors ascended, while there's also others that are still living here in present day. So that was in tribute to that, like of how like there are people that have the underground society that are living in the modern present of Africa, but still are above surface.
Is this like the whole aliens and the pyramids?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's what it's also in tribute to.
The Egyptians have a lot of that too.
Right.
Like with Filipinos, they used us because we had some astrological method of sailing the seas of Madagascar by following stars. I don't know how the fucking Filipinos are like singing ancient karaoke, and then the star is over there. The fish is over there. Let's go there. You know? So I get it. I'm just being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's very, like you said, they borrowed a lot of the Star Wars shit.
Which is hip hop, you know?
Exactly.
That's, you know?
Exactly. I mean, you know, you have all that technology in Star Wars, yet they're living in like a desert igloo, and it's like,
Can't
really?
you build a condo up in this bitch, dude? What's
Like,
your
really?
homeowners association? It's supposed to be
yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, really?
The one thing I thought was funny was how like they still had like African terms for everything, and then they were just like, when the white guy was asking like, what's that thing, or he goes like, so what's the source that's conducting everything? They're like, oh, it's vibranium. It's the most scientific term from like the English category.
Dude, but I was so inspired by the movie. I wanted to I'm not going to put his name out because it might be interpreted somehow in this ridiculously non-context world. A good friend, you guys know, one of my best friends is white.
Yeah.
He texted me, "What's up, man? How are you?" And I was like, colonizer, do not tell me what is up. I will tell you what is up, colonizer. You know, I was just like, yeah, I felt so proud to be a minority.
Right. You started calling them Guaylo.
Yeah, sure. For the listener who isn't familiar, or you don't have Chinese friends, that's the term for whites.
Round eye.
You know, it's like, colonizer, you were never my friend.
And then Nathan texts you. He's like, "Hey Charles, what's up?" And you send him a picture back.
I go, half colonizer. Yeah, so it's just one of those things where if I was young and still my ethnic makeup, which is Chinese and Filipino, I would emulate that, not in that spirit of the 20s of wanting to be black, but it's just the spirit of the movie.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, again, to borrow your term and whatnot, the whole transcendency of it. It's like, this is, now that as we're talking about it, it's like, okay, I'm in it. It's just definitely a movement. And it's a movement, you know, just kind of like, you know, in hip hop and being excited about it. I think kids are going to be like, okay, well, how do I participate without, you know, having to dress? If I'm not black and I don't want to be Black Panther, how can I be a part of it? You know, it's like, or Asian kids or whatever, you know, just like the Koreans that they said were greeting them in their own traditional garb. It's really inspirational in that sense, because you want to also show your excitement for culture in general, not just, you know, somebody else's, yours too.
Kind of like when Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
Anything that you could use as a pseudo sword, whether if it's gift wrap,
Right.
a broom, you're going.
Yep.
Vroom, vroom. You know, it's same thing.
Yeah, that's a great example.
You know, so that was really cool about the movie. One other gripe, to be angry. Towards the end, they were fighting, and then they had to CGI, like the costumes coming off via CGI. I just
What, you want to see butt cheeks?
no, it's just wear the actual costume and tear it. Pause, shoot the next scene, tear it some more. Instead of like CGI glowing tears, it was just like, dude, you were like right there, dude.
Wow.
You wore the costume as a costume throughout the movie. Then you had to CGI this shit.
Yeah, you were watching real close, dude. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Like I said earlier, sometimes I was just watching to watch instead of watching to enjoy.
Yeah. I think by that time I was already just kind of in it and like
Wow.
enjoying it. Yeah. I mean, some movies, I guess, you know, it's like if I'm already disengaged to a point, I'll start doing that kind of stuff. But this movie, I was too much enjoying the ride, and I just overlooked shit like that.
I was like, when the Jabari tribe came out, I was like, oh, it's the DMX tribe, because they were fucking which is very fucking intimidating, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, just like the any kind of war chants, you hear that shit, and it's like, you know, these people are crazy.
My buddy, the coworker down the hall, Sully, who's helped us multiple times, he said that like he didn't buy Michael B. Jordan as the villain more so than he did by that guy, the what's it called, the snow villain?
Oh yeah.
Or the snow. Yeah, he bought him more as a villain than he did Michael B. Jordan.
Snow villain.
The snow.
Snow villain.
The snow guy, the what's it called? The guy that cracked the joke of going like, we're vegetarians.
What about that whole thing
yeah.
with like Michael V. Jordan and Lupita Nyong'o now? Like,
Dating?
I think they're like an item.
Really?
I've been seeing stuff where it's like, they're kind of close. I mean, even like Jesus and Miro, they were like joking about it too. I mean, like, you know, it's like, oh, look at her, how she's like commenting on his Instagrams and like and their pictures and their positions and stuff. It's kind of like, oh, I think he's tapping that.
What, wasn't he dating a white girl?
I'm not sure. I mean, you know, it's Michael B. Jordan. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I mean, especially after Creed.
Yeah.
it's like he's balls deep in Wang, dude.
Anything. I mean, I was seeing like posts. It was just like Michael B. Jordan. I saw the Michael Bay Jordan.
The one with the picture of his ass also?
Or just, yeah, I just saw that reference. It's like, oh, that's just the accepted name now, Michael Bay Jordan.
Dude, these girls, dude, they were like, I need him in my life. Is Angela Bassett the parallel to Morgan Freeman now? But probably less accomplished?
Yeah.
Like, you know how we looked at Morgan Freeman as like the astute black actor, like the one that
For females.
shepherded, right? The one that shepherded in Denzel. You know,
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know if because Morgan Freeman to me, I mean, he's the voice of God, right? Like,
and the voice of that penguin fucking documentary.
but oh man, that's a tough one. That's a good question because Angela Bassett is. I mean, she's everything that you would want in, appearance, in, ability, and
Resume,
dude.
that Tina Turner thing.
Yeah.
I thought Lawrence Fishburne, sexist Charles, I thought Lawrence Fishburne was going to outshine her, but no, she fought that role and said, you know what, dude, this is a motherfucking about Tina Turner, not about Lawrence Fishburne, right? It wasn't about Ike Turner,
Right.
but because Ike Turner's Lawrence Fishburne's established pedigree. Well, his daughter killed all that after being an amateur porn star. But Larry Fishburne is like, yo, dude, I'm established, dude. But yeah, I don't know. I really admired how she could impact so much with so little in this movie. That's my third time I brought it back to her, so that was Lupita Nyong'o. Ironically, she could be that already.
Man.
Establishing, right?
Yeah.
I remember after the movie, like Julian was just talking about how beautiful she was.
Yeah.
She's just like, dude, she's just so beautiful that I can't even like. I wasn't, you know what? Honestly, I didn't even notice it was her until it was like, oh yeah, that's Lupita Nyong'o. It was like, I didn't even realize. I just thought, oh, who's this actress? And I was just like, oh shit, I'm losing it because she's like only like the most famous, like most popular black actress right now.
Yeah, and what chops does this chick have?
Yeah.
Because you tend to underappreciate someone like her because she just does it.
Yeah. And honestly, before this whole role, I felt she was just under the radar.
Well, you guys should go to soundcloud.com/PlugOneTwo. Search Fruitvale Station, search 12 Years a Slave, because we recognize Michael B. Jordan right away. We recognize Lupita Nyong'o. And please understand the context if I talk about Michael Fassbender having a crush
Right.
on Lupita Nyong'o. Okay? Understand the context. Dude, she's pretty fine. And to be picky and old and ornery, grow your fucking hair, dude. I want to see you with hair. I want to see you with hair.
I don't know. I like the natural look. I mean, it would be. I just feel like that's it. That's all she is. She. What other hairstyle or?
I just would like to see it. That's exactly why.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just grow it out, dude. She's got great skin, dude.
Oh, she's beautiful, man. She's beautiful.
I also like this girl right here, Danae. She was the other one.
Who's that? I can't even.
She's in The Walking Dead for like 96 episodes.
Oh yeah. Oh, Michonne. She's
Michonne, yeah.
She's the head militia bodyguard.
Yeah.
How kick-ass was that without trying to be on the nose?
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess, if you watch The Walking Dead, you already know. Like, for me, it was like,
What was her role like? Break it down.
she's a badass. Like,
She's absolute badass.
She carries a samurai sword. She's like figured out a way to like. She was the first character to kind of like hack the system and not have to like. She could walk amongst the dead because she figured out that all she had to do was like hack up the zombies and then kind of use them like pets, and she could just walk amongst them because they're walking. She's walking right next to them, and none of the zombies would suspect that she's one of them.
Did she just tie up an arm or a limb and then drag it? Or
She like hacks off their arms, and then she like hacks off their jaw so they can't bite her, and she just
like a quarter body with her? Or is it full
essentially
body?
just legs and a head. Like she's just walking them around.
Just tied up and
Tied
kinda
up and-
dragging it like a pet?
No, they're leading her. They're her escorts through all of it. She's a real dope like character.
Well, that's a serious case of brilliant casting for your career.
Yeah.
Like if you get like Will Ferrell,
Yeah.
right? Like for him, he's casted as himself, so he's lucky. But like if I were to be a movie typecast, I would love to be like a soldier doing Pacific Island Wars and then build from there. For her to be a minority and to be portrayed as a badass already,
Yeah.
look how much it was easier to matriculate to this.
Absolutely.
And I haven't seen the Tupac movie, All Eyes on Me. Have you guys seen that?
No, I will never.
Yeah. Well, she was in that. That
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh, good for her. Great. And honestly, like, since I'm on a hack mode, like Eddie Wong said this, it took fucking a zombie apocalypse for an Asian guy to bone a white girl on TV, dude. The fuck, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. And at the time, too, she was the hottest white girl, in my opinion, on the show at the time.
I haven't seen the show, so I'll just take your word for it.
That was they did it in the store, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so fucking hot.
Yeah. It was dope until the Latina came.
Well, good for him. I don't care. What an asshole. We were talking about uplifting something society. Yeah, but that was it. You mentioned in the elevator, you said it was good, but I don't know if you were suggesting that you had some positive, constructive criticism towards it.
No, it's just it's not my favorite superhero movie. Nor like as much as I was hearing about Michael B. Jordan as the villain, like he's not even my favorite villain. So I would still have Heath Ledger as the Joker, or
Number one.
Easy. That's easy.
like is aside from like superheroes too, Christopher Waltz in Inglourious Bastards.
Christoph Waltz, yeah.
Christoph Waltz, yeah.
Dude, I loved it. I am excited. I don't know if I'm going to watch it again in the movie theaters because I don't really do that anymore.
It's expensive, dude. I spent like 20 something bucks.
I had gift cards, so I really didn't spend anything. But it's really about the time and the effort of going to the movies and making time to do that. But I do want to watch it again. I mean, it's definitely in that category for me where they said Iron Man, like the first Iron Man for me was like my favorite Marvel. I think this one is probably coming close to that because, like I said, the action's there, the soundtrack's there, and I just it's modern and I like it. I mean, it falls in that category where I don't know. I'm excited to see it. It makes me excited.
What makes Iron Man still number one? And I'll get a question to you too about Heath Ledger.
To me, the reason why it makes it number one is because it was the Robert Downey Jr. surprise for me. I thought he was like, I didn't expect him to be that good. I also didn't expect the story. I'm not really into superhero movies that much. I mean, I did like the Christopher Nolan's Batman stories, Dark Knight stories, but it's in general, I think that Iron Man. I like the casting. I thought it was fun, and there was enough of everything, eye candy, action, and everything in that movie. This one, I just liked the whole thought. I mean, after the movie, there were like white dad and his kids were going into the bathroom taking a piss, and he was just like, that's a trippy world, huh? And at first I was like, what was he talking about? Like, he's like, yeah, I would like to fight to be a king and stuff like that, and and I was waiting for the whole like, Africa's not that nice, or that kind of shit.
I thought you meant the colonization of like, yeah, I think I'm gonna take over Africa.
But I like it how it kind of flips things on its ear. I think it's one of those things where, Iron Man had all this technology. He built weapons already. He had all this money and all this stuff, and we just kind of like, okay, that's part of it. And now it's like, oh, black society, black world is like, far more advanced. And it's like, okay, now you gotta just kind of like, all right, let's just see how it makes you feel. I thought that was cool, because it's like a lot of people aren't gonna accept that.
So, like, maybe in like 10 seconds, how is it like much better as a movie? Iron Man is much better as a movie versus Black Panther in your feeling? I
think the bad guy fights, and like who I forgot the name of the actor. Jeff Bridges. How he flips. I mean, you kind of see it coming, but it's like the way he flips and the way he's like already kind of like making the moves to take over and that stuff. And I like the fight scene.
Okay, I'm in complete agreement with you in regards to Heath Ledger. Mm-hmm. So I want to hear your perspective why that's number one as a villain over Michael B. Jordan.
I watched Hot Wings with Michael B. Jordan as the guest. Shout out to them, by the way, because that's an amazing channel. But like, just to hear the interview with Michael B. Jordan and how he had to get into character. He practiced for 3 months of just being Killmonger, and how he was just this guy that like took what he wanted. And in my mind, after watching this movie, I was like, well, all he did was just like put his eyebrows down and just go like, that's mine. So it was like not that far of a reach of him being villain, even though he was amazing at it. It was not that far of the reach versus the leaps and bounds to where Heath Ledger had to go just to be the Joker.
Right. It's like Ice Cube playing Ice Cube.
Or Ice Cube's son.
Or Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. Doughboy.
Yeah.
Doughboy.
That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're talking about.
I was talking about Ice Cube's son.
No. I meant as in Michael B. Jordan just being that. Yeah, I mean, you could close your eyes and maybe in a couple of scenes he was being Fruitvale.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's up with you, bruh? I'm gonna kill you, bruh. I love this museum, bruh.
Yeah.
But where Heath Ledger was just, I mean, okay, not about the movie, but just Heath Ledger, because I thought there were some corny parts in
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Too long, also, by the way. Mm-hmm. But it's just whenever Heath Ledger came, it's like, oh, it's a Heath Ledger scene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It stand the fuck back, people, because Heath Ledger is gonna crush this fucking scene. Every fucking scene.
You would pause the movie if you're at home and you're watching it. You'd be like, wait, hold up. I need to go grab fucking food or something like that. I need to go take a piss, but come back to watch this Heath Ledger scene.
Right. And with Wesley Snipes, he's getting a lot of discreditation because he really is the first modern day black guy to play a superhero, but it's a white cast.
Yeah.
I thought Parker Posey was amazing in that. Like, Parker Posey was like the sarcastic vampire. Like, this again. I love that.
Yeah.
But
15 years ago.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Long time.
I'd love to, but by the way, I loved how it wasn't forcibly Michael B. Jordan, because like with Brad Pitt in Inglourious Basterds, right? It wasn't like, okay, here's the Brad Pitt scene. Let's Brad Pitt it up. Let's have some girls like him.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie all the way through, by the way.
Just not for you.
You know what? I haven't made the effort. And it was just one of those things where it was on and I saw it and then it's like
lost interest,
or I don't know. I want to try it again, but
the one thing that pissed me off about Inglourious Basterds was the fact that he was advertised, but he was probably not even in it for half the movie.
A third
of that, yeah.
No, maybe even a fourth.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude, you have Brad Pitt as the face of that fucking cover of the movie.
And Christoph Waltz, boy, he just destroyed that role.
Right. He has a great exception to it, but the rest of the movie was just mostly dialogue.
Is he Hitler?
He's not Hitler, but he's practically...
He's part of the regime.
Yeah, he's part of the regime.
And imagine Michael Fassbender from 12 Years a Slave.
Okay.
Be witty and funny, but just as fucking terrible.
Like dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was good. To close, since this is going to be played on the Beat Junkie channel, there's a lot of elements, which, by the way, we need to record like a documentary review or that hip hop evolution.
Sure.
We need to do that. Look how long it's taken black folks to come up since they've been trying to come up. Like with hip hop, like it took maybe 30 years for it to be recognized as pop, as meaning popular culture. Mm-hmm. So I think while we're in the moment of Me Too, 2017 is kind of like labeled as the year of the woman. We are in a moment that we can look back 10 years later and go, wow, that movie was that significant.
Yeah.
That movie is doing so much for African Americans or blacks. Don't you guys think?
You would hope that's what's going to happen, right? I mean, I guess in this day and age too, it's not to be so pessimistic about things, but it's like something is just so big and they make such a big deal about it, and then next thing you know, we're looking at something else. Like,
that's because of the tide also.
Right. So I guess
loss of interest.
Exactly. So I mean, I would hope that this is something that moves positively and they can build on it. But I wouldn't be surprised, if the other thing happened where we just kind of forgot.
Yeah. And the one thing that I liked about it was like I didn't hear anything about fighting, for example, like the like kneeling argument coming back about the NFL kneeling, or like any of like the Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter protests. It was just like actual like support.
Didn't somebody post something where like people were like trolling the opening weekend where white people were saying they were getting beat up or something like that?
Well, put it this way, I factored my seats for a quick exit in case motherfuckers was trying to shoot some people up, dude.
You were that worried?
I want to say 50% yes.
Yeah.
Because the seats were limited because every goddamn show was fucking sold out.
Did you go by yourself?
Yeah. Oh, no, I went with my brother.
Oh.
Yeah. I went in Burbank and it wasn't, I don't think it was completely sold out, but it was, we were the second to last show and it was just hard to get in. And then the lines for everything were long. So yeah, I can see people being frustrated.
So yeah, first show on the Beat Junkie channel. There is a major tie because musically this ties in with what everyone has fought for to show a culture. And we're going to be doing some talking tunes and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Signing off.